Hey y'all, welcome to my channel or welcome back. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining us. If you are returning, you already know it. You are fabulous. All right, so today's video, guys, this is a fall DIYs video. These are mostly Dollar Tree. Some of the items came from the Family Dollar or the Dollar General, but mostly Dollar Tree. These DIYs turned out absolutely fantastic. I am in love with everything. I cannot wait to use most of these to decorate my new home, and I definitely cannot wait to show you these things. So let's just jump right in. Okay, guys, so for this first one, I have got 2 sets of frames from the Dollar Tree. Check these frames out, guys. They are so pretty. Like, you do not have to do anything to these. They're already farmhouse looking. They have got the just distressed wood grain look to them, and they are perfect for what we're about to do. So I've got 8 total. 4 of the 5x7s and then 4 of the 4x6s. I took my frames apart, took out the glass, took out the backing, and then I took off the little metal like tabs that are in the inside that hold the back on. I just took those out with pliers. I'm then going to take this Hippo glue gun. This was sent to me by Hippo, and guys, this glue gun is actually cordless. You charge it with USB, and then it's got that little tiny like precision tip on it, which is really nice and will actually work perfect for this project. So all I'm going to do is add some hot glue to the side and then add on one of the other frames. We're just making a square out of these frames. So we're simply gluing the frames side by side, just adding some hot glue and then literally gluing them together. So stinking simple. You know, I've seen lanterns done 1,000,001 ways on YouTube, but these in particular, I just had to do this because of the way that these frames looked, y'all. They were so perfect for this. I mean, they were already perfectly distressed and just literally perfect to make lanterns out of. So that's what we're doing. So we're just gluing these together. And like I said, that Hippo glue gun is perfect for this because it's got such a little precision nozzle on the end of it that it just puts out barely enough hot glue. It's just perfect for this. I didn't have any hot glue seeping out the sides or anything. I'm then going to take some of these jumbo popsicle sticks and I'm just going to kind of lay them out across the top of my lantern, or the bottom of my lantern it will be. And I'm just going to cut these down to fit. Take my scissors and continue to cut. You can literally cut them with scissors. So I cut them down to fit, and then we're just going to use that same hot glue gun to add just a little dab of hot glue and be able to glue these down and create a bottom for our lanterns. Now, you can paint these. You could stain these if you wanted to, but since it's going to be on the bottom and nobody is going to see it, I thought they were fine, just the natural wood. I mean, no big deal. Nobody's ever going to see it. It's literally going to be on the bottom. And then we're also going to be adding some florals and some candles and all that good stuff. So you're never going to see those popsicle sticks. But they made the perfect bottom for these. You can even use like what am I trying to say? Oh, you can even use the foam board to create a bottom if you want. That's something super simple to do also, but I just thought that the craft sticks were the easiest route and it worked out perfect. So I flip them over. I'm going to add one of those wood chunky rounds from the Dollar Tree to the bottom of my lanterns just to make my candles stand up a little bigger. And then I'm just going to add in some florals that I picked up from Walmart and also the Dollar General store. Super stinking cute. Now, for the larger one, I did add in some lamb's ear to create my bottom, like the starting of my florals, just to have that greenery in there. And then I'm going to go in with some of these gorgeous picks from Walmart. They have a velvet pumpkin on them, guys. They are seriously gorgeous. So stinking pretty. Anyways, I'm just going to go right around my candle. And as you can see there, for the larger one, I've actually got 2 pillar candles stacked on top of each other to create one taller candle. So I just added a little dab of hot glue and glued those dudes together. So stinking simple, especially if you don't have a tall pillar candle. But that's all I did to these, and I think that they turned out so pretty. Okay, so for this next one, and my absolute favorite from this video, I have got 3 different size pumpkins, 1 from the Dollar General and 2 from the Dollar Tree. I also have 2 wall tiles from the Dollar Tree. Now, the first thing I did was go through and just take off the hangers and any of the embellishments that were on the pumpkins. I got super lucky with that smallest pumpkin because the letter that was on it just popped right off. It did not damage the pumpkin or anything. Now, I was able to get the pieces off of this pumpkin using my little spatula deal from the Dollar Tree. It did damage the front of it, but no big deal. I could just flip it over on the back, and we're going to use the back of it. I also filled in the holes that were on the bigger pumpkin. Now, I'm going to take my wall tiles, flip them over on the back, place my pumpkins right on top of them, and just trace them out with a marker. Super simple. Same thing for the little pieces. I'm just going to take another one of those wall tiles, place my pieces down. Now, I do kind of check to see where the pieces are on the wall tile because there's like a specific part of the wall tile that I wanted on those pieces, and I just wanted it to really pop. So I did kind of keep flipping it over just to check and see exactly where I was going to be, you know, potentially cutting these at. But I just traced these pieces out, cut out the pieces with my scissors. Now that all my pieces are cut out, we're going to start putting them on the pumpkin. So I just used my hot glue gun, added some hot glue to the larger of the pumpkins, just added it all the way around it, making sure that I got it around the edge really well, and then also in the center, and then I just placed down my wall tile. So stinking simple, guys. This turns out absolutely stunning. I'm talking about it is gorgeous. Anyways, I did the same thing for the pieces. I just added some hot glue and then added down my wall tiles. Super duper simple. Place down the wall tile. Now, be careful when you're doing that because it does get hot through the wall tile. Now, I'm going to be using some of my masking paper. Y'all, this paper is so perfect for painting. I mean, obviously, that's what it's for, but I'm saying it's just so much better than craft paper. First of all, you get that huge roll for like $6 at Harbor Freight. And I think you can also get it at Lowe's, actually, also. But anyways, I just laid that out. I'm going to lay my pieces on top of my masking paper and then begin to paint. So I painted them first with the plaster chalk paint by Waverly. I gave them one really good coat of that and then used my heat gun to dry them really well. So I wanted these super dry, and then we're going to go in with the antique wax. I just covered these in the antique wax, guys. I'm talking about I put a ton on there and then went back and wiped it off with a baby wipe. Super simple. Dried it with my heat gun. Now, I did have one that I kind of had to go over a couple times before I got it like I wanted it, but no big deal. And then I added some white paint just to kind of highlight all of the raised areas. I also stained the back of the medium-sized pumpkin, the one that the pieces go to. I just stained that, And then we're going to add our pieces back on top of it. So I just added some hot glue and then began to add my pieces back. Super simple. I just added them exactly the way that they came off. Added hot glue and then just placed my pieces down. Y'all, this turns out so good. I cannot wait for y'all to see it done. Oh, so pretty. I love those wall tiles. I knew that there were going to be tons of DIYs that could be done with those wall tiles. So I wrapped my stems with my twine from the Dollar Tree, secured it in the back, and then just snipped it off. I did the same thing for the larger pumpkin. Just wrapped up the stem with my twine. Now, it's time to embellish these. So I have got some lamb's ear that I got from Walmart, and I just pulled off the leaves of the lamb's ear, and I'm just going to glue those right up by the stem on each of the pumpkins. Well, on the two larger pumpkins. The smaller one, we're not going to put any leaves on. But I did just add some hot glue and then add in my leaves. I have got some of that ticking stripe ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I love this ribbon. I think it is so pretty. I'm just going to make a simple shoestring bow, nothing fancy, dovetail my ends, and then we're just going to hot glue that to the medium-sized pumpkin. Super simple. I have also got some ribbon from Walmart. Now, this is like a gray colored buffalo check. And I just made another simple little shoestring bow and glued that to the smaller pumpkin. I took one of those hula skirts from the Dollar Tree and made a bow. And we're going to glue that one to the larger pumpkin. Now, to put these together, I just added some hot glue along the side of the larger one, added in the medium-sized one, and then stood them up. I want these to stand. So while I was gluing them together, I kept kind of standing them up, just making sure that everything was going to lay right. All right, so the smaller one, I had to add a Jenga block to one side of it so that it would actually lay pretty even across the two. Added some hot glue to the back of it, also to the Jenga block, and then placed it in the center of these two pumpkins. Stood it up, made sure everything was going to stand correctly. And then we're going to take the backs to the picture frames that we took apart in the first DIY, and I'm just going to glue those to the back of these pumpkins. So stinking simple. That's why I save everything, y'all. I swear, you never know when you're going to use something just completely random, but those backs were perfect for this. And guys, I absolutely love this. I think it is, it's just stunning. I love it. Okay guys, for this one and one of my favorites of this video, I have got two books, some rub-on transfers, and also a roll of burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree. First thing I did was just take the dusters off of the books, flip them inside out, and put them right back on the book. Super simple. This way you don't have to paint the books, you're not having to recover them, nothing like that. I just glued it to the inside portion of the book. That way everything would stay down. It would stay nice and, you know, seamless on there, I guess you would say. But I just did that to both books, flipped the duster inside out, glued it to that first page, or well, the first portion of the book. And there we go. Now, we've got the perfect canvas for the rest of the DIY today. Super perfect. Okay, so I'm going to take those rub-on transfers and cut out the words Simply Blessed. cut those apart and place those on each book. I'm just going to find the placement of it, peel off the backing to the rub-on transfer, and then place it exactly where I want it. Now, I'm going to take one of those little spatula deals from the Dollar Tree, or the little scraper deal, should I say, and I'm just going to use that to put on my rub-on transfer. Super simple. Those rub-on transfers, I'm telling you, if you are not using the rub-on transfers from Dollar Tree, you are super missing out, because they are fantastic, guys, and they really make your DIY look so much more high-end. I also took some of those gorgeous pumpkin rub-on transfers, and I added that to the bottom book. Super simple. Does not get any easier than this. Now, I'm going to take my burlap ribbon, go across the top, under the bottom, twist it, and then come back up above the top. Hopefully you guys could see what I was doing. It's just like wrapping a present. If you were wrapping a Christmas present, same thing. I'm then just going to tie a knot. I did not tie a bow or anything like that, because we're going to be putting some florals in there, and I really wanted that to be the main look of it. So I just took some of the like neutral maple leaves, and then the ones that had the white pumpkins on there, pop those dudes right into that burlap ribbon. I just literally slid it right into the ribbon. We didn't have to glue anything, none of that. So stinking simple, guys. And look how gorgeous this is. Ah, I love these. Alrighty, guys, for this next one, I picked up this set of 3 little jack-o'-lanterns that I got from the Family Dollar for $5. And then I've also got another one of those rub-on transfers from the Dollar Tree. So the first thing I did was just take this completely apart. It literally popped right apart. I did have to sand down. There was some glitter wording on it, so I did sand that down. And there were also some little tiny nails, so I just snipped those off and then kind of hammered in what wouldn't come off. I've got my blue paint that I have mixed up myself. I've also got Celery and Moss by Waverly. I have this brown paint by Ceramicoat. I have Plaster by Waverly, and also Antique Wax. I'm going to be using those colors to paint these pumpkins. So what I did was put on my first coat, dry it really well, and then go in with my second coat. And before the second coat was dry, that's when I added in my highlighting and contouring lines. Just literally added in some lighter lines on the green and the blue, and then some Antique Wax on the one that I painted with plaster. Once they were dry, I sanded those down with my sanding block. I'm going to take my rub-on transfer, and I couldn't really figure out the placement of it. I couldn't figure out if I wanted to put it up at the top, in the center, but I just kind of liked this bottom one better. So that's what I did. I just placed it on the smaller pumpkin, rubbed it in really well with my little scraper deal from the Dollar Tree. These rub-on transfers are so nice, and they are so easy to use. You just have to hold them in place really good. If they move around on you, you can mess them up, but as long as you hold them in place real well while you're rubbing, you'll be fine. I then glued all of my pieces right back onto the little stand that they came on. Now, I painted that stand with the brown Ceramicoat paint. I also painted the stems of these pumpkins with that brown Ceramicoat. But I just added a little hot glue to the bottom of these, a little hot glue to that middle one, and then glued it all right back together. This was so stinking simple. I also used some more of that hula skirt to make a bow, and that was it. This is so stinking cute. All right, guys, for this next one, I have got 2 of these little tote bags from the Dollar General store. They were $2 a piece. So cute. One says always be kind, and the other one says stay positive. I've also got 2 rugs that I got for half price at the Dollar General store. So they were like $3.50 a piece. And then I've got like a $2 pillow from the Dollar General store. Now, the first thing I did was just go through and cut off the handles. I just cut those off even with the top. I'm then going to take some of my stuffing from this pillow. I just cut a little hole in the side. To me, this is cheaper than like real polyfill because this pillow was literally maybe $2 or $3, and that polyfill is like $12 for, you know, one little bag of it. So anyways, I just prefer using the cheap pillows from the Dollar General. But all I did was stuff my bag. I made sure to get it in the corners really well, and then I flipped it inside out on the top. I'm going to take my hot glue gun and run a bead of hot glue right down the inside of that, and then just close her right up. So simple. These turn out so cute too, guys. I cannot wait for y'all to see these, especially the rugs. Oh my gosh, they are darling. But anyways, I did the same thing to the other side. I just added some hot glue and then closed it up. And it really looks like a real pillow, y'all. It amazes me the things that you can make pillows out of. Anyways, I love it. All right, now, so for the other one, I just did the same exact thing. The main thing is just making sure that you get it stuffed down in the corners really well. I mean, to me, that's what really makes it look, you know, nice and whatever, and that you get enough stuffing in it. So that makes a big deal too. But I just added that hot glue. I flipped the top inside out and added my hot glue and then glued it down. I was a little out of frame there, guys. I'm so sorry about that. I did not realize that I was completely out of frame for that entire session of that, but maybe you understood what I was doing. Now, when it came to the rugs, I was actually going to glue 2 together and make one big pillow, but when I put these rugs together, as you see there, it's perfect across on this one. Look at that. One of these rugs is literally like 2 inches shorter than the other rug. What in the world? Anyways, as you can see there, I'm kind of pondering, now what? So what I decided to do was flip this over, cut off one side where the fringe was. I'm just cutting it right along the edge where the fringe is. And yes, it may ravel on you, but no big deal. We're going to fix all of that, so no big deal. I flipped it up, as you can see there, and then I'm just going to hot glue the sides closed. So I'm just using my hot glue, running it right along the edge there. And y'all, hot glue works really well with fabric, so these will probably stay nice for quite some time. But as you can see there, it's almost like a little envelope or whatever. So we're just going to stuff the pillow the same way we did the other ones, making sure we get it right down in the corners really well. Now, if I had this project to do over, I would most definitely glue down the top half first and stuff it through the sides, but I have to make my life complicated. So that's not what I did at all. I stuffed it and then tried to figure out how in the world am I going to close this thing now. So yeah, that's what we did. A couple hot glue burns along the way, but whatever, it's all good. This turned out so stinking cute. Oh my goodness, I love this. And it really looks like a real pillow. Now I did add some hot glue along the sides at the top just to close that up real well. But like I said, if I had it to do over again, I would definitely close it up and then fill it through the sides. It would just be so much simpler. But either way, we got the job done, right? So that's all that matters. But check these out, guys. These are so stinking cute. Okay, DIY number 6. So for this one, I've got this thankful and blessed cutout word from the Dollar Tree. I also have this wood board from the Dollar Tree Plus. It was $3. First thing I did was add a little bit of spackle to the holes that were in the word. I'm then going to be using my blue paint that I've got mixed up and also my antique wax. So I used the antique wax to stain the outer edge of that board, and then I'm just going to use that blue paint to paint in the center of it. I used my plaster to paint my wording, and then also celery and moss by Waverly to paint the leaves. Super easy. I also took a little bit of the antique wax and distressed my words. How cool does that look? Loving the distressing on there. Now, I'm going to be using some Star Bond thick multi-purpose adhesive. I don't end up using the accelerator, but I am using that super glue. And y'all, Star Bond is a great brand. I used them for probably 2 years before the tornado, and then I've just recently gotten back in contact with them, so I will be using the Star Bond quite often. I'm sure you'll see on this channel. Anyways, I just used that and I glued this to the board with that Star Bond. This was so stinking simple, and look at how pretty this is. Ah! Okay, so for another one of my absolute favorites from this video, I have got some rub-on transfers and also these little houses from the Dollar Tree. First thing I did was just take off the embellishments from the houses. I was going to do craft paper on the back. I decided to just use the peel and stick wallpaper from the Dollar Tree instead. I thought it would look nice across the back just to cover up all of that nonsense that was on the front. I'm going to paint the back of these, the actual back, with plaster chalk paint by Waverly. Super simple. Dried it with my heat gun. I used a sanding block to distress it. Now, when I was tracing these out with the peel and stick wallpaper, I realized that they were not, you know, made equally. So I just put a little number on the house and then a little number on the peel and stick wallpaper so that I would know which piece went to which house when it was time to place these on the back of our little houses. They just weren't made equally. Nothing from the Dollar Tree is made equally, seems like. Anyways, just a little tip there if you needed one. But I used my sanding block to get off any excess of the peel and stick wallpaper. And then I realized that I hadn't painted the sides of this. So I did take my paintbrush and go through and paint the sides of the houses. Now, I'm going to add my peel and stick. No, not peel and stick. My rub-on transfers. Lord have mercy, y'all. Some of this stuff's a mouthful. You hear me? Anyways, my rub-on transfers from the Dollar Tree. These are so, so nice. I cannot say enough good things about these transfers, y'all. Check that out. So simple, and this looks totally high-end. Now, this one is my absolute favorite because I wanted to use this entire piece of this rub-on transfer. I had used a couple like small pieces of another one that I had cut out some of the pumpkins, and these pumpkins are just gorgeous, y'all. So I thought, you know what? I'm using the whole stinking page of it. I'm just going to make the entire house completely covered in these pumpkins. I think it will be so, so perfect. So that's what I did. I just laid it down across it and then began to rub it on with my little spatula deal from the Dollar Tree. So perfect. Now, to embellish these a little bit and add the roof back onto them, I used my Hippo hot glue gun. This is a cordless hot glue gun. How stinking cool is that? You just charge it and you're ready to go. Now, I just added my little roofs back on, and that hot glue gun was actually perfect for that, guys, because not much hot glue comes out of it at a time. So no extra glue, nothing like that. I took some beads from the Dollar Tree, made a little circle out of them, tied it off in a knot, and we're going to glue that to one of these houses. It just looks like a little beaded wreath or something. That's what I was kind of going for. Use that Hippo hot glue gun again because, like I said, it does not put out too much hot glue, so it's just perfect for projects like this. I made a little finger bow with some twine from the Dollar Tree. I just wrapped it around my fingers a couple times, tied it off in the middle. Super simple, just a little double knot. And then I'm going to cut off the excess from the ends, and we're just going to glue that right above the little wreath that we made. Super, super simple. These are so, so stinking cute. I wrapped some of that twine around the bottom of the other little house, guys. And let me tell you something. These are darling. Look at those. They are so, so cute. Alrighty guys, for this last one, I've got one of these gather words from the Dollar Tree along with these adhesive stencils from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to be using that same blue paint. Now, I like this color of blue for fall. It's not for everyone. I totally understand that, but I think it is a gorgeous color for fall. I took that color and painted this entire word, top to bottom, inside and out. I even painted the back of this because I plan on this being like a little shelf sitter, so I wanted to make sure that, you know, from any angle, it looked nice. I took some painter's tape, found the center of my word, and pressed down my painter's tape. I'm then going to take that stencil, place it along the bottom. I actually took a minute to figure out which one of the stencils I wanted to use. But once I figured it out, I just take that stencil, peel the back off of it, and stick it to the word right underneath my painter's tape. Super, super simple. I use a stencil brush, get a little bit of paint on my brush, dab it off, and then just tap, 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 tap. That's how I paint when I'm using a stencil. Literally just tap, 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 tap. I did that all the way across this word on that bottom half under the painter's tape. Literally just tapping it on. Works so, so well. Those adhesive stencils from the Dollar Tree, they really are adhesive. Like, they work pretty well, I will have to say. It's the first time I've used one like that, but I did enjoy using it. It worked really well. But I just continued this process all the way across this, all the way down, until I got the entire bottom half of this done with the stencil. I've seen words like this with that split design in several different stores. I know that the Dollar General right now has some like fall words out that are made this way, and also Hobby Lobby. So that's where I got the idea to do this from. But I've seen those words all over the place, you know, and I just thought this was such a cute little design, and just what a cute idea, and so, so cheap. Like this, if you have to buy the stencil and the word, this still is only going to cost you like $2. And it really turns out nice. Check this out. Before we go, y'all go check me out over on TikTok. I just started TikTok a couple weeks ago. I'm having so much fun doing it. So be sure and go check me out over there. Thank you all so, so much for being with me today. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. I know that I definitely had a great time putting this stuff together for y'all. Some of these turned out absolutely fantastic. They're actually some of my favorites from this season, so that's something big. But I thank you all so, so much for being with me today, and y'all have a blessed day. Oh, wait, before we go, don't forget, check out the coffee shop. That's ko-fi.com. Blessed Beyond Measure. Once you're there, you can check out the coffee, or you can also check out my shop where I sell a lot of the DIYs that you see made on this channel. So that's pretty neat. So be sure and go check that out. It's ko-fi.com/blessed beyond measure. All right, guys, that's it for today. I thank you so, so much for being with me, and y'all have a blessed day.